Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey watching 90 Day Fiancé. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. I usually have things to say when I watch this show, so let's see if anything of interest comes out of my face. And I kind of see that my shirt actually kind of matches.
The case was dismissed. Now I'm reborn.
Yeah.
Reborn, a new life.
The case was dismissed, and now I'm free like a bird.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
It's funny, but I feel comforted for Debbie. We have a difference, but she supported me walking till the court.
So I'm happy for Larissa, and I'm even happier that Debbie and Larissa are getting along and that Larissa sees that Debbie's being supportive, that Debbie's being nice. I don't know why, just a reaction that I have. It's always great to see people being supportive and nice and loving towards each other. So it's good to see.
And I feel like I had a friend there.
Thank you, Debbie, for supporting me.
You're welcome.
Now I will try to make it up and understand you better.
Okay. I'm hoping now that the case is dismissed and all the stress is gone from everybody, that we can move on and get our life back together and maybe be a family.
Now, if they could just hold on to this goodness and remember it and don't go on this cycle that this family is on, that we have seen happen at least a few rotations thus far.
All you're talking about is communication. And you and I need to learn how to communicate first. And then we can join forces and work together. The night Larissa was arrested, Larissa and I had been arguing a lot. So much so that I told her that I did not want to marry her. And then she just lost it. I couldn't get through to her. She wasn't Larissa anymore. I feel like sometimes you shut yourself off. I need you to step up and be my partner.
Okay, I actually hear a lot of this kind of language on this show is, we have all these kind of communication problems. I need you to step up and be my partner. Now, maybe that inspires your partner to, I don't know what, step up and be a partner. But usually that doesn't go over well. Much more healthy way to communicate this sort of thing is, from Colt's perspective, what I'm looking for is something like, so, honey, I love you, and I'm dedicated to you forever. I'm glad that you had the case dismissed. Now, let's try to make it so that we don't have fights like the one that led to me calling the police. I'm not going to call the police in the future as long as it's below a certain threshold, but meaning violence and threats of safety. But I would like to avoid those kinds of conflicts. So let's talk about how we can avoid that. And I just want to say, from my standpoint, I want to take responsibility for my part in the conflict. I did this, I did that. I was flooded with emotion. I was really hurt by the things that you said to me, and I overreacted. And so I'm going to do what I can do from my end regarding how to eliminate the conflict. And then hopefully Larissa would follow suit and say, thank you for taking responsibility for your side of it. And thank you for dedicating yourself to doing that. I will take responsibility for my part, and here's what I could have done differently. Or what do you think I could have done differently? What do you think could have helped in that situation? Instead, on the show, they will say something like, I need you to step up and I need you to, really be a man, or I need you to be a real wife, or, these kinds of statements. I don't know where they get those kinds of, I don't know. They're sort of like the way a coach would talk to a team at halftime. It's like a pep talk or something. But it never works on the show. And certainly as a therapist, I never say that sort of thing. Someone comes to me and they're pressed. I'm just like, you need to rise to the occasion and be a real human. Or it's like, what does that even mean?
I will try to get along, but I need that Colt do things for me too.
Other thing that make me feel a little upset, Colt, is when I ask you money for buy stuff. That's, for example, I want to buy a Chanel.
Okay, so let's track this conversation. Colt said, we have a lot of conflict. I don't want to get in fights like that anymore, and I need you to be a, what do you say? So be a real to this relationship, some kind of statement. I'm guessing that for Larissa, that hurt her feelings because I'm just taking a guess based on past statements by them, that hurt Larissa's feelings because it gave the impression that Colt was saying it was all her fault. She gets hurt, she transforms that into anger, and then she transforms the anger into hostility, and she says, I need you to buy more things for me like Chanel. Now, if you were to pull Larissa aside and say, you've been down this road before, how do you think it's going to go? Let's just lay out all the possible options as to how this is going to, what's going to happen if you go down that road with Colt. Are you hoping that he's going to say, you know what, honey, I have $1 million secret in the bank and I'm going to buy you all those things? Or, you know what, honey, I'm going to dedicate myself to getting a raise. I'm going to earn twice as much money and then I'm going to give you all sorts of gifts. Do we think that's going to happen? I don't think Larissa would predict that. I have cat hair on my face, by the way. My cat visited me while I was watching the show. Or, Larissa, when you bring that up, do you think that's going to inevitably cause a conflict between the two of you because Colt is going to get hurt by that and then he's going to try to defend himself by saying, I don't have that kind of money, or something worse like saying that you're too demanding about money and then it trigger back and forth. So why would Larissa head into a conversation and start something when it's very predictable that it's going to go bad? Why would she do that? Well, I'm guessing if we work our way backwards, that was a passive-aggressive statement that came from anger, that was transformed out of hurt. That was because he gave the impression that it was all her fault, but he was actually trying to protect himself because he does, you see the matrix when you understand those underlying hurts and fears that get transformed into anger and they get transformed into passive aggression by the two of them. So let's watch this train wreck.
No, I can't.
300,
Maybe in the middle.
$200.
Yes, let's go with that.
I think that I'm a good negotiator. I want $1 million from Colt, but it's better 200 than nothing.
When they interview her away from Colt, presumably we're getting at least more honest statements from her, more differentiated statements.
Today, I have an appointment about my lip injection, and I'm really excited because I always watch movies, and I want to look like a Hollywood star. I don't think that lip injections are expensive. I don't know if it's in my budget, but I don't care. He should to pay or he never have sex with me anymore.
Okay, so just to summarize, she says that she wants lip injections. She doesn't know how expensive they are. She wants Colt to pay for it. She doesn't know if Colt can afford it, but that doesn't matter. And if she is going to have sex with him, then he needs to pay for the lip injections. Now, everyone can have their own lifestyle, and maybe this is the kind of lifestyle that Colt and Larissa want to have. And I don't know if she's joking about everything she just said, sort of amping it up for the show. I don't know. I don't know what to think of that, honestly. What do you think of it? I'm genuinely curious.
Welcome. You have an appointment?
Yes, we have an appointment
Larissa?
for today.
Go ahead and have a seat and we'll be right with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Larissa and I came to an agreement that she'd have $200 for her budget. But I don't know how expensive these lip injections are. I want Larissa to be happy, but there's no guarantee that I will pay for it.
What does that mean? I want to know what's going on in this relationship when it comes to money. Is he saying, well, she better have sex with me or else I'm not going to pay for it? Or she better be a good woman or else I'm not going to... I don't know. There seems to be a lot going on here. There's two things. One is Larissa told the producers of the show in a car outside of the apartment, outside of the house, because she was afraid that Debbie and Colt were going to hurt her. She said that she was trapped, that she was being controlled, and that she needed to leave the house and tell the producers of the show They are abusing me. I am unsafe. I don't know the exact words she used, but it was definitely along those lines. We have not seen an update on that. She went to court, and now everything's fine. I'm curious what she meant by that. When she said she was unsafe, what did she mean by that? She never elaborated on it. I could see a lot of different possibilities there. I don't know, but there's a wide range, ranging from full-on being abused and the cameras aren't picking it up, to Larissa just completely making that up. I'd want to know where in the middle it is from there. The other thing here is that they got in a huge fight, and according to Colt in his police report, she came at him and scratched him. So I would want to know more about that too. There's violence, there's accusations of not feeling safe here, and they haven't updated us on the status of that. Because unless something drastically changed in this system, which I haven't seen, all those risks are still there.
I hate the shape of my lips.
I think your lips look beautiful. I understand the need, the want to change your body. I get it. But you're beautiful. And I love you.
And I've seen this before, where couples will have an outburst of violence, either the two of them or one person highly controlling the other person or alternating or something. And because they're used to this sort of thing, the next day they wake up and they just try to go into denial about it. They just try to forget about it. And then there's a ramp up, and then boom, another incident, and they try to forget it. They try to put it behind them. And they don't actually address the underlying issue that led them to that and that will lead them to that in the future. I get it. You know, it seems like a strategy you would try once, but when that fails and if there's future violence, then you should really think about your strategy. For the two of them, if this happens again, I hope it doesn't, but if it does happen again, I would hope that they would rethink their strategy of denial and moving on and actually get a professional involved to help them, because there are professionals that can help them.
Do you want more jobs?
I don't see the correlation between jobs and lips.
I feel motivated. Colt is hesitant to pay for my lips injections, but I will convince him.
So if you didn't catch that, and I'm not judging the two of them, but I just want to highlight it so that we can all think about it, and you tell me in the comments below. She is offering to perform sexual acts so that he will pay for plastic surgery for her. I don't know if you call it plastic surgery, but procedures to enhance the way you look. That's what she's saying. And Colt is saying, I don't know if I like that agreement. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to me. And she seems quite enthusiastic about it. There's a possibility that if they decided to do that deal, although not usual, could be emotionally healthy-ish, or at least not damaging. I don't know. There's a lot of routes where this could end up being unhealthy, where you're, essentially not really connecting, not really doing things in bed that you want to do. You're only doing them because someone has access to funds. And then there's all like body dysmorphia potentially that's happening for her. I don't know. I would have to ask her. There's nothing wrong with getting lip injections, but there's a possibility that she doesn't have an accurate picture of how she looks and she's chasing some elusive, vision of how she wants to be seen so that she can finally have self-worth. I don't know. I mean, there's just no indication of any of that stuff, but those are things that I'd want to investigate with them. Having said that, there's a possibility that what they're talking about right now is potentially a good arrangement. I don't know, but it certainly has its humongous risks involved, right? Because imagine for yourself, you make this arrangement, and during the sexual act in question, Colt is saying, well, she's only doing this to me because I paid for her lip injections. And for Larissa, she's like, well, I better do that thing because he paid for my lip injections, rather than actually having physical intimacy where both people are doing what they want to do. And they're mutually giving to each other because they want to mutually give to each other in the way that they want to give to each other. So it's troubling, really, very troubling. Let's rewind that and watch that again.
Do you want more jobs?
I don't see the correlation between jobs and lips.
I feel motivated. Colt is hesitant to pay for my lips injections, but I will convince him.
It's not exactly the best time. We just got out of something that was very expensive. Unless you have a job or a bag of gold or a lottery ticket.
Larissa?
Yeah, so I don't want to pathologize it just based on the fact that I personally would never live a life like that from either end of that equation. There's no way me personally would ever say, yeah, let's go down that road together as a couple. It would never occur to me, and I would never want to. So I don't want to pathologize something that feels very different to me. And as a couples therapist, I always have to ask myself, am I having a reaction because it's something that truly is bad for them? Or am I reacting to something because it's just different from the way I like to live my life? I don't know. But I do know from experience that there is a lot of risks there. We can imagine a world where Larissa gets her visa, she is able to work, she is able to buy her own things, she is able to be independent financially and married to Colt. The two of them can have the sexual life together that they both want, regardless of deals that they've made outside of that. That they can make each other feel loved and that they can love each other unconditionally. At this point, it's looking like very much the way that I think some people think of this couple, which is that Colt is using his money and his citizen status, his green card access, to have sex with a beautiful woman, and Larissa is using him because he has money and it gets her into the United States. And the way that they just talked, it is concrete examples of that. Now, there's nothing wrong with people having those arrangements. It just doesn't lend itself to the fundamentals of human attachment, which is we love each other unconditionally. I love you unconditionally, no matter what you do, no matter what you could lose your job, you could, become disfigured in a car accident. I'd still love you. I'd still be with you. It's you that I want to be with. It's not the way you look. It's not how much money you earn. I want to be with you and me attached. Now, not everyone wants that. Some people want a different kind of relationship, and I'm not going to judge that. So I don't know. I'm just going to put a big question mark on that. Maybe we'll get some more data as we move forward.
Oh, we're doing your lips today?
Looks like it.
Okay, so one syringe of Juvederm is going to be $4.75.
What do you say?
Colt should to pay for my lips injections because he has a hungry sexual drive, and I feel really confident and sexy after I feel in my lips.
You sound like a prostitute.
The wife are the most expensive prostitutes ever, darling.
Very interesting. So according to her belief, she says that wives are, and I'm guessing she's being a little sarcastic, but maybe there's some truth there, that wives are the most expensive prostitutes. I don't know, but I think what she's saying is in order for women to want to have sex with their husbands, they must be given a lot of money. And then they want to have sex with their husbands, and everyone gets what they want. Woman gets the money, and the man gets the sex. So,
what do you say?
Colt should to pay for my lips injections because he has a hungry sexual drive, and I feel really confident and sexy after I feel in my lips.
You sound like a prostitute.
The wife are the most expensive prostitutes ever, darling.
You're not gonna say anything?
So if this was a couple I was working with, I would want to value Larissa's point of view. I'm not going to shame that. It's hers. But I would really want to work out between the two of them, okay, how do you want to work as a couple regarding that value that Larissa just threw out there? As a couple, do you want to do that? Because let's lay down the expectations there. I don't know. You both are coming to me so that you can reduce conflict and increase your happiness together. Is this the life that the two of you want? Now, what I would also hope is that these individuals would have worked out before they even got married these value differences.
In a few months, you'll get your travel papers, and maybe we can go to Brazil. I can meet your family. What do you think?
Now?
Well, eventually. I have a right to meet my in-laws. Now, I will say that the proof's in the pudding, right? That Colt is still in this relationship and he seems 100% enthusiastic about it. So maybe in front of the cameras, he seems a little not so enthusiastic about that agreement of paying her money and she gives him sex. But he's still with her. He goes along with it. So maybe in it, maybe implicitly or behind the scenes, he very much is in agreement with that arrangement, and that is how he likes things to go. That could absolutely be a possibility. And there is a little bit of evidence for that in some of the things that he says. So I shouldn't paint this as some sort of Larissa agenda that she's imposing on Colt. He absolutely seems to be on board with it as well. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle, in which I react to 90 Day Fiancé. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.